The status on the Masseter Prime went from 28 to 26%, the damage went from 241 to 260, the crit chance has gone from 24 to 26. Kind of a letdown on that point, and you would think, okay, primes are supposed to be slightly buffed. It is literally a slight buff. Building it more towards status side, it'll be fine. It'll be fine either way, because the Masseter Prime has the best buff they can ever give to any prime melee weapon. It has an increase in attack speed. And more importantly, it has 3 parts: the blueprint, the actual blade, and the handle. If you want to know where these are, just go up to the codex, go into the relics, and type in Masseter. You don't usually have to get the full word in there, and it will tell you where the relics drop, which planet the relics drop from, and what part drop from each one. And it's only a 12-hour build, but it will need 15 Orokin cells to actually build this. You can rush it for 50 platinum if you want to, but if you set it off to build, while you know you're going to be busy for the next 12 hours, what you do is save yourself platinum for rushing other things, is all I'm really going to say here. As long as you, of course, remember to claim it first, because that's a thing you should probably do. Yeah, every single thing on this is green, but the biggest thing is just has to be that attack speed, the 1.08. It's going to take all the other increases in everything, and it's going to make them so much better. Having a look at the polarities, it actually has 2 on it, which I don't think the normal Masseter actually came with any on it. It may have literally come with none, because I've got 2 former on it and only have 2 polarities. I may have swapped that out, I honestly don't know. But it is classed as a big heavy blade. It doesn't look like it. This probably would have made more sense as a hammer style weapon, but it's not, and that's one of its saving graces. Even running this thing with Sacrificial Steel, Prime Fury, Prime Pressure Point, of course, Amalgam, Organ, Shatter, and all 4 of the dual stat elemental mods, this thing still hits like a train. 83.2% crit chance with a 4.1 times multiplier and 122.4% status. Yeah, I said it when the Masseter came out. It is a hell of a weapon. I loved it. The fact that it uses basically heavy blade skins means that you can swap out that polarity. I kind of wish I had, if I'm being 1000% honest, but I kind of left the V on there. But I will be doing it in the future. Cleaving Whirlwind on these things is just so much fun. Oh, lots of fun, even though I actually am not using it at the moment, unless I may form it before getting the footage for this. So ignore it if it's been leveling up this whole time. Long swords or heavy blades or tons of fun in this game. They are some of the longer ranged melee weapons, which is where this thing comes into its own. The unique trait of immune to crowd control effects during heavy attacks while wielded by Grenier. Yeah, it's not the best of traits that Prime Weaponry has been given, but it's also the unique trait of the standard Masseter. So it's kind of still there. But by far, probably the best thing I love about this is the visuals on it. Just the fact that every single part of this, we can't call it a blade, which is why this thing falls into a weird kind of realm. This doesn't look anything like a sword. Hammer, maybe. Not really at the same time because of the length of it. It's more of a blunt style weapon that has spinny blades on it, because technically there is some spinny blades on each part of this. I referred to this as the giant crankshaft because it does kind of look like one, even if its rotation is way off from an actual crankshaft. There was just something about this, despite it being classified as a greatsword, for what was it actually worded as? A greatsword for those with an insatiable hunger for victory. Something along those lines. I cannot remember exactly offhand. But it really isn't a sword. It's more of a blunt style weapon because it doesn't really have that many pointy parts to it. And the Prime version still doesn't. From the hilt upwards, this thing is basically more like a hammer that cuts like a sword, which is why I'm kind of glad it still had quite a nice amount of slash, but at the same time, this is a sword that is heavier on the impact than slashes, which is kind of its saving grace. This, yeah, it has a 1.68 attack speed with Prime Fury thrown in there, which makes it even better. Range of 2.9, as forementioned. Heavy blades, being long swords, tend to basically have some of the longer range outside of things like throwable melees and whips. And I said wisp. I had to take her off to do this. Take from it whatever you want. The Masseter Prime, it is a blunt weapon that deals a lot of impact, a lot of slash, any elements you put on it, because if you can change that combo up and have whatever combination you want on there twice, over 100% status with high crits at the same time, the Masseter was a great melee weapon. The Masseter Prime, obviously, it's even better than the standard one is. Love this thing. Visually appealing, and the fact it can deal a lot of damage to enemies, win-win. If only Digital Extreme would take the hint and actually make more weapons that are great like this. But we'll have to see. At least it wasn't a skin, because their version of a signature weapon these days is to make it a skin. Wish that was a joke. And with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.